Kafala Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakodash. Double honors goes to the men of GMS who brought out this word with 100% truth and sincerity. Salutations to the Akim that are out there in the byways and highways teaching this word. Salutations to the Akwaf that are learning and listening. And Shalom to the 1/3 scatter elect, hopeful scatter elect. I'm going to talk about some topics that primarily just concerns about Israel and the salvation of Israel. And Israel is represented by the 12 tribes of Israel, which are the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native American and Seminole Indians, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, but primarily here in Babylon, which was formed in 1776. The evils of Babylon, the United Snakes of America. I'm going to go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 16:40, and it reads, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle." So there's going to be a conflict. There's going to be a battle, oppositions, this way or that way. So there is going to be a battle, and you have to choose. And in those evils, meaning in those days, in those evil days, and in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So we were scattered upon the earth. We're not in our homeland. We were originally from Israel. We come from the 12 tribes of Israel. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are not in our homeland. A pilgrim is someone who voyages away from his land to another place, and that's where we're at right now, Babylon. That's where we're living in this oppressed society. So that pertains to us. No other nation considers themselves as pilgrims that went through what we went through as a nation, not as a group of people or a part of a country, a whole nation, the 12 tribes of Israel. Going to Revelations 2:26. the last book of the Holy Scriptures. We read. Okay. Here we go. Revelation 2:26. "And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations." This is the book of Revelation. It's promised to whoever overcometh in this oppressive society. If you follow the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability in this oppressive society, to the best of your ability, and you overcome it until the end, to him I will give power to over. What does it say? It says, "I will give power over the nations." That's a strong statement right there. So not everyone is somebody's going into slavery. Somebody's going into slavery, and you're going to have the first and the last and the first. For the first will be last and the last will be first. That's the way it was. And who has always been last and who's always been first? Who sets up their unrighteous decrees? What race of people sets up their unrighteous decrees and sets themselves up first and somebody last, to oppress somebody down and to raise somebody up? Well, it's going to be reversed. It will be reversed. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth after. Now, we already know who Jacob is, the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American Seminole Indians. Deuteronomy 33. Let's go to Deuteronomy 33, 27, 28. So there's Deuteronomy 33, 27, 28. Almost there. Yeah. Deuteronomy 33, verses 27 and 28. "The eternal power is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone." I'm going to read that part again. "Israel shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew. So salvation is only for the nation of Israel, and the other nations, especially Edom, which is the so-called white man, is going into slavery. I'll read this again. 28, Deuteronomy 33:28, this last verse. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. It doesn't say that we're partaking. Scripture says salvation is of the Jews. Salvation is of the Jews. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew. I mean, all the blessings will be poured over Israel, because no other nation have gone through what we've gone through. And you have the northern tribe, the southern tribe. You have Israel and Judah. Jeremiah 50, I think 33, when both nations shall come together. The only time both nations were together like that, as far as in captivity, was in Egypt, in slavery, over 400 years. That's the only time we were all together, other than the time that we are now in captivity now. Because we returned back to Egypt in slave ships, which happened to the northern tribe and happened to the southern tribe. It is what it is. When it happened here, we were here first, the northern tribes. I'm from the tribe of Issachar. It happened to our people first. You have the Issacharites, you have Gad, Simeon, all the northern tribes. Ephraimites, Simeonites, Reubenites, Asherites. Just go down the list. The southern tribe primarily consists of Judah, Benjamin, and Levite, and the rest of 9 tribes were over here and scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. When the conquistadores came here, they put us on slave ships. They took us to the surrounding islands, and primarily in Spain, and from there that was a hub to take us all over the world. So that was in slave ships. Egypt doesn't so much represent a place, but something that happened to us in Egypt, which is a house of bondage. Egypt is a house of bondage, and we went in bondage again. And salvation to us is being saved from our enemies. And the only one that can save us is Yahweh. Yahweh is the name of the Father, Holy Father. Yahweh is the name of his only begotten Son, our Savior, Hamashiach, the Messiah, Yasharahla of Israel, and Rakah Kodash is Spirit Holy. Of course, here in Babylon we say everything backwards. Holy Spirit is Rakah is Spirit, and holy is Kodash, means to be separated, sanctified. Be ye holy, for I am holy. Be not like unto the other nations, the heathen nations. I have loved you and I have cared for you above all nations. Let's see, we have let's go to Daniel 2:44. Daniel, there it is, just came up. Daniel 2:44, we read, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. How long is never? Never is a long time. Never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, only to Israel. Daniel was not a Philistine. Daniel was not an Egyptian. He was not an Edomite. He was not he was an Israelite. He was of the nation of Israel. It says, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume, what? It says consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Has that happened already? Has the nation of Israel put all these other nations under their rule, and it stands forever? There's nothing but war right now. That's how you know that those aren't the real people of Israel. Those aren't the 12 tribes, because the Most High has not established his peace. It says, but it shall break. I'm sorry, let me go a little further back. Which shall never be. Let me start from the beginning, Salakia. And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom. So has he set this kingdom up? He has not set it up. There is no peace for Israel yet. There is none. That's not Israel. Those are Amalekites. That's the grandson of Esau, Amalek, which is the son of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau. You find it in Genesis 36. Which shall never be destroyed. He's going to set up a kingdom. The God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. That's plain and simple. It shall not be left to other people, but only Israel, because all the other nations had some time of oppression over Israel throughout history. All the other nations had their chance of ruling over Israel. All the other nations, whether it was like in slave trade or servitude, but they all had Israel under them. All oppressed Israel. And its kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Once it happens, once the Most High establishes this, and we follow His law, statutes, and commandments the way we will be, because it will be in our hearts and our minds. Because no man will tell his neighbor, teach his neighbor that we'll just say, know the Lord. And you'll know it'll be in our hearts, just like it was with Adam. When the Most High breathed into Adam, that breath represents law, orders. It represents wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We did have laws then. It just wasn't written. It was in us. It was in Adam. Because the Most High says, I proclaim the end from the beginning. And this is how it is. This is how it's going to be in the end. When we'll have that. That's Hebrews 8:8. I'll go to that afterwards when I read this. Kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Cannot go against the Most High's word. So as I said, we will be living in a perfect kingdom, and it's going to be ruled by the 144K under the authority, under the governmentship of Yahushai, Hamashiach, the Messiah of Israel, Hamashiach Yasharahla. And like I was saying, these laws are going to be inside of us. We won't have to be teaching our neighbors, just like it says. I'm going to get to that right now. Then Hebrews 8:8, which is Jeremiah 31, a precept to that. Let's go to Hebrews 8:8. It says here, Hebrews 8:8. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel. It's all about Israel. It's all about the Father, the Son. It's all about Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Ba'ashem means in the name. So when I will make a new covenant, this is a new covenant. When I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah, the northern tribe and the southern tribe. My dog's down here. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt. Who was led out of the land of Egypt by a strong hand? The 12 tribes of Israel. Not everybody else. This covenant, and this is the new covenant. This is a new alliance. This is a new pact. This is a new contract. And it says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continue not in my covenant. Yeah, we broke it. We broke the covenants. We went off. We went under the curse. And we went under the curses of Deuteronomy 28, from 15 down to 68. And I regarded them not, saith the Lord. And he tells us what the covenant is. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a God and a power, and they shall be to me my people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, that's what I was saying, and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord. Study him, know it intimately, know the Lord. For all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. So we've always had the laws and commandments ever since we were made in the likeness and image of the Most High. When He breathed this into us, when He breathed, it says, man became a living soul. Before that, we didn't have that. The bones of Ezekiel, I think it's 37:5, and we became a living soul. Without that, then Adam was able to have some kind of order. Before that, he didn't have any order. It was just dust. Dust represents confusion. Dust represents confusion. And so when the Most High breathed wind, breathe, which means conspire, means with breath, inspirar, breathing in. When he breathed that his breath into man's nostrils, then man became a living soul, and we had law, we had wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. He was able to have order. He named everything. He did this. He was able to do this. He had governorship. Before that, he didn't have any order. Those are the law, statutes, and commandments that we had. And we broke that even when we were with Adam. Even when Adam did that, my bad. So we did have the law, statutes, and commandments. It just wasn't written. It was inside us, just like it says in Hebrews 8:8. That's a new covenant. And the Most High says, I declare the end from the beginning in Genesis. He did that. He did this already in Genesis. And that's how it's going to be. So let's continue on Jeremiah 16:16. Yeah, and I'm getting to the point to where it doesn't matter if it offends people. You know, people do what they want to do without asking any permission. So I have permission from the Most High to do what I have to do, to keep going. And if it offends people, it offends people. It's not for everybody. It is not for everybody. They're not going to understand it. They're not going to understand it. They're going to be stuck to their Christianity or whatever theology that they it's like a drug. They're not going to let it go. Yeah, I sigh like that because I'm tired. I work a graveyard shift, so that's why I do that. And sometimes the things that we go through, the hell that we go through as a nation of Israel, because we will not conform to the ways of the world. When Job first, when Abraham, his uncle, told Job, you know, you have the pick. You want this side or this side? Job saw, oh my God, look at this luscious green over here. He picked that side. And Abraham didn't mind because he knew that the Most High was with him. So Lot goes over there, and we all know what happened there. Sodom and Gomorrah, that's a sinful city. By the time the three strangers come and visit Lot, Lot's outside his that place that he picked, because it looked better on the other side of the tracks, if you know what I mean. And he was already outside of the city that he picked, that land that he picked, that area that he chose to go to. He was outside looking away where he came from. That's a teaching right there. First, he was looking to where he wanted to go. He got there, he didn't like it. Then he turned around, he was sitting outside the city, and he was looking outside from where he came from, and there come the three strangers. That's another teaching right there. Jeremiah 16:16. I'm almost there. Hurry. 13, 14, 16. Behold, I will send for... This is going to be Jeremiah 16 through 19. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. Yeah, first the Lord's gonna have the hopefully I'm one of the 144 elect, 144K elect. We're gonna be sending out for fishers. We're gonna be fishing out for men, and this whole message is so that they can be woken up and come to this righteous awakening. After that, Lord's gonna be sending hunters. We're gonna be going after those heathens, especially the Edomites. Out of every mountain, out of every hill, and the mountain stands for a kingdom or government, and the hills are the states, the little provinces. The word province means provisions, like your counties. Woe unto them who go to Egypt for help, roughly paraphrasing. And from every hill and out of the holes of every rock, I'm gonna be looking for them in those bunkers. For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double. So whatever they did, they're going to receive double. It says that's what he's going to do first. This is the Most High speaking. And first I will recompense their iniquities. They're going to get what's due to them. And their sin doubled because they have defiled my land. Boom. That would be Israel, not just the actual land, but us. Because Israel was a person first, was a nation first before they were actually a land. Jacob, Israel, 12 tribes. Boom. And we take the land that was promised to us, Canaan. They have filled mine inheritance with carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. Yeah, all sorts of atrocities were done unto us. Not just slavery, debauchery, adultery. God, selling our children, raping, robbing, murdering. They have no pity on the old or the young. We're not even humans. We weren't even humans, like cattle. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, there's the part, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanities, and things wherein there is no profit. Everything they thought that was of the Most High, that if you do this, and the Lord's going to profit you, the Lord's going to bless you. Every time something good happens, people say, the Lord is good, the Lord is good, the Lord is good, the Lord is good. But, rarely will it be that something bad happens and they'll say, oh, they forget the Lord, or they don't give him that high praise as much. And it's not, the Lord is not Jesus. The Lord is not God, or what is it, Jehovah? I don't even say those names anymore. It's hard for me to say them. The name of the Father is Yahweh. The name of the Son is Yahawashi. Not Jehovah. There you go. Not Jehovah. Not Yeshua. Not Jesus. Jesus. It is Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi by Shem Rakakodash. And so, as I was saying, all these people that were following Christianity, different forms of Christianity, like Catholicism, Presbyterians, Protestants, they feel like that's the way to follow the Most High. But that is not the Most High, and that is not the Most High's only begotten Son. He's not a so-called white man, and he doesn't just love everyone. He is here for the nation of Israel, for I have come not but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Do not go into the way of the Gentiles. And these Gentiles are literally the Gentiles that are not Israelites. The Gentiles that the Apostle Paul and that the Most High is talking about, Yahushua went for, are the lost tribes of the nation of Israel, which became like unto the Gentiles, that was scattered unto the four corners of the earth. Okay, what's that? This is Jeremiah. Yeah, and so after that, he's going to send hunters and getting them, and looking for them and seeking them out. How are the things of Esau sought out for? How are his things searched out? As far as our fathers have inherited lies, and there is no profit in them. I mean, who owns everything? What race of people primarily puts themselves on top in society that they have this, and they'll speak about, it's just $2,000, like it's nothing, just spend it. It's like, what the heck? That's a lot of money for some of us, man. You got to save up a lot just to get that sometimes. Sometimes we don't, sometimes we do. Most of the times we struggle. I heard one of the brothers, Malcolm from Chicago, he said, hey man, I don't mean to say anything evil or lies, so if I say something off, please correct it. But I believe the message was, hey man, if the Most High, if you're not struggling, then the Most High ain't dealing with you. It's not that Most High. It's another one that's you're getting blessings from somebody else. They're actually curses. But if you're not going through these curses and things like that, then the Most High is not dealing with you. And that makes sense. That makes biblical sense. Deuteronomy 28. So let's go on to Acts 15:16. Acts 15:16. Yeah, man, if we're not going through these, then the Most High is not, then you're not, it doesn't bother the Most High. And it bothered the heck out of the Most High for us not to follow his ways. That's why he put the curses on us. If not, then you're not part of the 12 tribes. Or you're not of the elect. You're of the heathen nations, the 2/3 wicked. 2/3 wicked of Israel. Here we go. Acts 15:16. I think this is it. Yeah. After this, I will return. Here it is. After this, I will return and will build again the tabernacles of David, which has fallen down, and I will build again the ruins. Therefore, I will set it up. Let's look up that word tabernacle. That word tabernacle means, what's a noun? It says a fixed or movable habitation, typically of light construction. So, yeah, because we had to move in the wilderness when we were going through the desert for 40 years. It says a fixed or movable habitation, typically of light construction, so that you can move. And we're going to be the tabernacles. We're going to be the tabernacles when the Most High is going to be dwelling in us. Let's get that in Revelations 21:3. Oh, here it is. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of power is with men. Again, the tabernacle of power, which is what the Bible refers to as God. God means power. It's a Greek word for power. Is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and power himself shall be with them and be their God. Period. We are the tabernacle. We're the tabernacle of David, the tabernacle of the Most High. I'm gonna close this out with Isaiah 14, 21, 22, the famous Isaiah 14. Yeah, showing that these things haven't happened yet. We have not taken our oppressors, our captors, and made them captivity under us, whose captives we were. Here we go, Isaiah 14. We're at 21 and 22. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers. So that cuts everyone that says, well, I wasn't there, I didn't own any slaves. Hey man, you were there and you did own slaves in your previous lives. Even if you weren't, it says this: prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers, for the sins of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them. Man, these are some strong words that the Most High is talking about these people, for iniquities of the fathers. And it's the fathers that these are the people that put the 12 tribes of Israel in captivity. It's not everybody like that. And if you're 2/3 wicked, you're going to be the first to be slaughtered, but you will be reborn again. Just like you were born here, but you're going to be reborn literally in the new kingdom when we establish it. Under Yasharahla, which is going to be under Yahawashi, which will be under Yahweh. It will be a righteous kingdom. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon, which is United Snakes of America. Really, Babylon is all the Caucasians in the world, but primarily here in the United Snakes of America. And cut off from Babylon the name, the remnant, and son and nephew, saith Lord. Notice that it didn't say the mother, the daughter, the aunt, the granddaughter, the grandmother. It stuck with the males, because you are the house of your fathers. Whatever you are of the house of your father. You'll have DNA of the mother, but that is not your heritage, your lineage, your race. Your race is of the house of the father. We read that in Numbers. Let me get that. Numbers 1:18. There's no such thing as mixed race. You have mixed DNA. You have your mother's from one race, your father's from another race, or they'll be the same race. But primarily, if you get into like mixed race of people, there's no such thing. You are of the house of your father. Whatever your father is, that is what you are. Okay. Let's see where we are. Numbers 1:18. And it says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees, their lineage, their race, their bloodline. And they Shalaki, let me do that again. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old upward by their poll. So it doesn't matter what your mom is. Your lineage, your race is determined by your father. And whatever his father is, that's what you are. It just goes down. Your lineage. Your house literally means, it's not just a physical place, but house is your line, your root line, your tree line. So with all that being said, Kahala Yahweh B'Hashem Yahawashi B'Hashem Rakakodash Wa Abad Baba Kwam Yasharahla.